Good evening, everybody, and happy Easter to all. I can remember it well. I was probably about 7 or 8 years of age. My mother came to me one day and she says, and we had a little farm at the time, but she says, sort of tired of purchasing chickens, she says, I'm going to start raising them myself. And she says to me, I want you to help me. I said, that sounds good. So she says, if you get about 15 eggs, she says, I will get a nesting hen. And we have a nice place there in that nice shed there. We can set them up there. So I got the 15 eggs anyhow, and she got the nesting hen, and we put her in this nice little room, and all went well. And after every day you'd have to take the nesting hen out for a while and let her walk around and sort of, because if she's sitting in eggs all day, it can get sort of tiresome after a while. So anyway, after about 2 weeks, she says, she brought me one evening into the room, and it was very dark, and she had one of those little small candles. And she says, you hold the candle there now and hold your hand up like that. And she says, let me check out those eggs, okay? And we're going to disturb the hen a little bit, but she won't mind. So it's sort of like the first X-ray, really, where she could literally, and it's true, she could in those eggs she could see the shape of the chicken. And the ones, of course, that didn't have the shape of the chicken, then you had to discard them. And she said to me, 15 is probably too many eggs for a nesting hen. So about 12 is about for her to do it properly. So got rid of the eggs that are sort of dead eggs, and so she had the 12 eggs, and twice a day would take the mother hen out and give her let her walk around for a while and rest. And lo and behold, after 2 more weeks, that'd be less than 2 weeks, after 21 days, you could begin to hear knock, 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 knock. That is the chickens knocking on the eggshells, trying to get out. And lo and behold, within a day, 12 chickens had emerged out of those eggs. The eggs were at that sort of what we call cracked eggs, I suppose. Anyway, I never thought much about it at the time, but it's only in retrospect, you look back at an event like that, and you realize that was really a small miracle. When you think about it, those birds inside in those eggs, sort of like a prisoner breaking out of a jail. How those birds could literally break their way out of those shells. As I say, it's a mini miracle. But you think about that miracle and you realize there's so many miracles in life. The fact that you have light and darkness every day, the fact that you have 4 seasons every year, the fact that you woke up this morning, the fact that you're able to stand up, etc. It's all. We're living in this wonderful, wondrous world that we so often take it for granted. So as I say, miracles are around us everywhere, but unfortunately, we get so used to them we don't even see them. But that takes us really to the event that we commemorate here this evening. That is the resurrection of Christ from the dead. Up until that, and Jesus performed many miracles himself, but up until that time, the whole question of anybody being rising from the dead just obviously didn't make any sense whatsoever. The fact that that gospel reading, when the man in white by the tomb says, "Why are you looking for the living one among the dead? He is not here; he has been raised up." That's not just a miracle, it's the miracle of miracles, if you will. It is the miracle. The fact that there's the possibility of, after you die, being raised up to a newness of life. And I deal with death really regularly every week, and the whole question of dying and how challenging and difficult that is. And if you don't have anything after death, then it all seems to make little or no sense whatsoever. So today, as we gather today, and we have a wonderful celebration, we're celebrating today together the fact that Jesus overcame death and rose to a newness of life. That's what the event is all about, and as I say, it's the miracle of miracles. But furthermore, the life that Jesus acquired through his death and resurrection, he didn't just keep unto himself. That is, he passed it on to us. He passed it on to his church. And he passed it on to his church through his sacraments, but initially through the sacrament of baptism. When we're baptized into Christ, then we receive Christ's grace into our lives. And thank God here this evening we have 14 people this evening, from very young people to, I was going to say very old, not very old people, but people who are adult people. With 14 people who are actually being baptized into Christ. And so this is certainly room for celebration. And it's wonderful for these young people. I congratulate them. They have been journeying. I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. They have been checking it out for several months, and they have decided this is what they want to do. So it is what we call a glorious event, a glorious evening, the beginning of a new life in Christ, and Christ coming to them in a special way in and through the sacrament of baptism here this evening. But keep in mind also that he's not just coming for them, that he's also coming for the rest of us as well, okay? He is here to be received. And we have 3 little people this evening who are making their first Holy Communion, and then everybody else who is receiving communion here this evening. That is, we are all entitled to receive the grace of Christ into our lives through the Eucharist here this evening as well. So it is a glorious occasion, and know that the mercies and the grace of the Lord is never exhausted. It's available to all of us, provided that's what we're looking for in our lives at a particular point in time. So this is the reason to rejoice and to celebrate the resurrection of Christ on this day, which we attempt to do together in a very beautiful way.